I am a doctor. 7 years it took me to train. I took an oath to treat all my patients the same, without looking at colour, skin or caste. When patients flood in, I act quick and fast. But I'm not so sure the same rules apply to me. I'm so sick of being treated differently. Jumped hurdles my whole life because my skin is termed black, stereotypes defining me, holding me back. Born to this country through parents invited. As they travelled on Windrush, hope was ignited. They thought they were travelling from home to home, but when the ship docked, there was a change in tone. Didn't know they would be met with a barrage of hate, a society nurtured to discriminate. Crowded houses of strangers with leaky roofs. 40 years later, they were asked for proof. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish signs read. From eating fine seafood to choking on stale bread. Leaving behind the tropical sand for a cold and gloomy, unwelcoming land. Skin inherited from a history of pain. Faith stolen, shackled with an iron chain. Even now, supremacy unhidden elected. Grabbing women, ignoring children, widely accepted. Think back at how Brother Malcolm was slain. His own brothers? That's the oppressor's game. His words were thorns, truths to those who heard. The labels he was given, grossly absurd. When a king marched to represent the abused, he was shot down, no shackles were used. Medical journals defining shapes as that of an ape, using colour to scale the pain a woman can take. I continued to wear my heart on my sleeve. Inspired by Mandela, I forgave and chose to believe. I trained as a doctor to strengthen the system. When somebody suffered, it was my job to assist them. Living parallel to the disparity of stereotypes, coloured children automatically blamed for school fights. Will things ever change, I ask from within? Stephen Lawrence, forever defined by the colour of skin. When the calamity of COVID caught leaders by surprise, A&E teams saved so many lives. When the pandemic came, I answered the call. I didn't want society to crumble and fall. To me, we are taught all life matters, but what do we preach? What do the history books and curriculum teach? Promoting statues of those who plotted demise, who plundered and raped for their dynasties to rise? I take an issue with you holding the view that important protests are impromptu. Dreadful? Of course people will choose to protect fundamental rights if you choose to ignore centuries of existential plight. Was it not dreadful when entire generations were looted, cargo on ships for whichever purpose suited, taken to lands to grow sugar or coffee? One cannot wash over true history. Taking no heed of colonial greed, ignoring pleas from medics in need, COVID contracts were given to friends, political failure dominating trends. Which version of the happy birthday song were we supposed to sing to shield from the devastation of shameless decision-making? Thousands of bodies piled up while lockdowns were halted, borders kept open, diabolical policies exalted. Frontline workers hailed for their contribution to society, yet abandoned, ignored as they begged for PPE. Doctors deemed heroes, but they had no say. Witnessing last breaths, they touched death every day. And as Brexit Brigade became tough to condone, we started clapping for people who were told to go home.